Can I ask you something kind of uncomfortable? If someone handed you an extra $1,000 right now, or $10,000, or $50,000, would your financial problems actually go away? Be honest, because if you're like most people that I've worked with, and I've sat face to face with thousands of people talking about their finances, the answer is probably not for long. You'd feel relief for a minute, maybe a few weeks, and then somehow, somewhere, you're going to end up right back in the same place you were, stressed, confused, wondering what is wrong with me. And here's what I want to tell you right from the start of this video. Nothing is wrong with you. But something is wrong with the way that you've been told how to manage your money, how to build true lasting wealth, and how to be truly happy and financially free. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what that is. My name is Tammy Kayada. I'm a certified financial planner and the founder of Finlightenment Financial Learning Group. And I spent over 15 years as a financial consultant working with over 6,000 people one-on-one about their money. What I discovered in those thousands of conversations completely changed how I think about financial success. And it doesn't start with spreadsheets, investments, or making more money. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand your financial situation in a way you never have before. Let me describe something and tell me if this sounds familiar. You start the month with the best of intentions. You tell yourself, this month is going to be different. I'm going to track my spending. I'm only going to buy what I have to. I'm going to save money. I'm not going to do that thing where I look at my bank account and I feel that sick feeling in my stomach. And then life happens. An unexpected expense, a stressful week at work or with the family, a night when you're just so exhausted that you just get online and you shop. Because it felt like the only good thing that happened that day. And suddenly you are back to square one, feeling defeated, feeling like everybody else has figured this out except you. But here's what I want you to know. That cycle, that start, stop, crash, restart cycle, it's not a willpower problem. It's not a discipline problem, not an income problem, not an intelligence problem. It is a financial foundation problem. And I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that. Now think about an iceberg for a second. That tip above the water, that is your conscious financial behaviors. The things you can see and think about. Your spending, your saving, whether you have a budget, whether you're paying off debt. That's what everybody focuses on. The apps, the spreadsheets, the budgeting challenges, they all target that 10% above the water. But underneath, below the surface, that's where your beliefs live, your emotions, your identity around money, the stories that you were handed as a child about what money means, whether you're good with money, whether people like you ever really get ahead. And here's the thing, you cannot permanently change what's above the water if you never address what's below it. I saw this over and over again in my work as a financial consultant. I would sit with someone who made a genuinely good income, and they were still living paycheck to paycheck. I'd sit with someone drowning in debt who logically knew exactly what they needed to do, but they just couldn't bring themselves to do it. And I'd sit with someone who had millions in savings and investments, and they still woke up every morning terrified to go out to lunch. The numbers weren't the problem. We could show them the numbers. It didn't change anything. The relationship with money was the problem. And here's what the research tells us, because this isn't woo-woo, this is neuroscience. Your brain has deeply ingrained neural pathways around money, patterns of thought and behavior that developed over years, often decades, that fire automatically before you even make a conscious decision. When you feel that anxiety when you open your bank account, that's your nervous system responding to a perceived threat. And it doesn't matter if your balance is $50 or $50,000, you still feel the same way. When you spend impulsively after a hard day, that is a deeply wired pattern of emotional regulation. When you avoid looking at your finances altogether, that's your brain trying to protect you from something it has been taught long ago is unsafe or shameful. These patterns run on autopilot, and no budget in the world can override an autopilot that hasn't been reprogrammed. So why does most financial advice fail, people? Because it only addresses the tip of the iceberg. Most budgeting advice says, here's a template, track your spending, stop buying coffee out, done. Most money motivation says you just need more discipline, try harder, want it more. Neither of those things touches what's actually driving your financial behavior. And I want to say something gently but clearly here. If you have tried budgeting before and it didn't stick, that is not evidence that you can't do it or that it doesn't work. that is evidence that the approach you took was incomplete. You were handed a tool without being taught how your brain works first. That's like giving somebody a musical instrument and saying, hey, just practice, without ever teaching them how to read music, how to hold the instrument, or why music even matters to them in the first place. Of course it doesn't stick. You need the whole system, the internal rewiring and the external structure, both together. That is the only combination that creates lasting change. I want to paint you a picture of what's possible on the other side of this work, because I have seen it over and over. Imagine opening your bank account and feeling calm. Not dreading it, not avoiding it, just calm, because you know what's in there and you know where it's going and you know it's going to be okay. Imagine making a financial decision, a big purchase, or moving money to an investment and feeling fully confident about it. Not impulsive, not guilty, not stressed, confident. Imagine having a conversation with your partner about money that doesn't end in a fight because you both have finally a shared language and a shared plan. Imagine being 6 months from now and money is no longer the background noise of anxiety running through your whole day. It's not the first thought when you wake up or the last thought before you fall asleep. Imagine knowing that you have a plan in place that's going to make you happy now and make all your financial goals come true in the future. That is not a fantasy. That is what happens when people build the right foundation, and anyone can do it. And the beautiful thing, you don't need to earn more money to get started. You don't need to wait until the debt is gone, or the kids are older, or life gets less busy. You start where you are with what you have right now. So here's where we are going in this series. Over the next several videos, I'm going to walk you through everything. Why the old approaches to budgeting fail, what the science actually says about changing your money behaviors, the most common money lies that we tell ourselves, and what a complete financial reset actually looks like. And I'll show you exactly what it looks like to do this the right way, the inside out way, so that change doesn't just happen for a few weeks, it lasts. Right now, I want you to do just one thing. Hit subscribe and click the next video in this series. Because in the next video, I'm going to share something that I've never really talked about publicly before. The thing that I saw happen again and again in my 15 years of one-on-one financial consulting that completely changed how I understand why people struggle with money. I think it's going to surprise you. I'll see you there.